Public meeting, June 17th, 2020 to order. Before we stand for the pledge, let me read this little verbiage from the governor. In accordance with the governor's executive order relating to COVID-19, in-person attendance of tonight's Planning Commission meeting will be limited. We have arranged a live stream of the meeting so those interested can view it from home. The meeting is slated to start at 7 a.m. You can view the meeting PM via our website at cedarlakein.org/view-town-meetings. Then click on View Broadcast under the live broadcast. You must join the meeting through the link to participate during the public meeting. Due to the unique nature of this meeting, the town of Cedar Lake will accept public comments submitted electronically. If you have a question or comment about an item on the agenda, please email that question or comment to michelle.baker@cedarlakein.org. Ms. Baker will ensure that all submissions are shared with the board members and that the submission will also be entered into the minutes of the meeting. Please keep your comments civil and constructive to the policy issues on the agenda. Please stand for the pledge. Bob, would you like to do the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Roll call, please.
Heather Dessauer,
Present.
Chuck Becker.
Here.
John Cora,
Present.
John Foreman,
Present.
Richard Sharp,
Here.
Jerry Wilkening.
Here.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Oh, I'm looking at David Austin
Here.
too. I'm gonna combine you both. David Austin.
Yes.
Tim Kubiak. Michelle Baker. Here. And myself.
Present. Okay, next item. Approval for the minutes for May 20th, 2020 public meeting and June 3rd, 2020 work session. However, before anybody makes a motion, I need to amend the minutes to include the email from Colleen Scheiben to Michelle Baker on June 3rd, 2020 at 9:10 p.m. as part of the record. If we need that email, I'm sure it can be provided. Okay, anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Sharp. Motion by John, second by Mr. Sharp. Roll call, please.
Heather Dessauer,
Yes.
Becker.
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
John Cora,
Yes.
Jerry Wilkening.
Yes. Okay, first item, old business, Hen Commercial Subdivision, owner petition Richard Hen, P.O. Box 502, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity 13301 Lincoln Plaza, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting preliminary plat for one lot subdivision, deferred from May 20th, also deferred from March 18th. They were at the work session 2 weeks ago.
Hi,
So
Richard Hen, 13733 Wicker. Where are you from?
Robert Hen, 13733 Wicker, Cedar Lake. Yeah, we were here a couple weeks ago at the work session, and we needed our engineer to respond to the comments, Don's comments, and I believe they have. Don, I know they emailed it to you yesterday.
I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Kind of a late, I know.
Yeah.
It was the best we could do.
Yeah.
But they did get it to you yesterday, so hopefully it satisfies all your questions.
I think the subject at the work session was the partnership and the dollar amount for the alley. I believe you had mentioned the partnership of some kind, and I was hoping that Don had some numbers. Mr. Foreman and I had tried to give Don some direction on what's what, and
So going back to the last meeting, we were tasked to kind of come up with two separate cost estimates for the entirety of the alley, which is about 200 feet from the concrete apron on 133rd all the way down to the paved parking area on the township parcel. The two different estimates. One was the full pavement depth, not including ag, so just 3 inches and 1.5 of asphalt. Second one was the old town's pavement section, which is the 1 and 2. So you're not dealing with a whole lot of asphalt in the first place, so the numbers are actually pretty close. A little less excavation, obviously, because you don't have to go as deep. So the two numbers were for the 1 and 2, the old pavement section was $15,048.83. Both of these include 10% contingency. And then the full depth was $18,318.03. So we're talking about a difference of roughly $3,200.
Okay. I guess, Mr. Austin, I have to kind of lean to you for what's the partnership here, Don? You guys have any thoughts on, I mean, it's Mr. Hen, and is he a 50% partner? Is he 33 1/3? What is the,
I mean, if you want to go strictly based on frontage width along that stretch, they're exactly 100 feet. So if you assume 200 foot wide with, obviously split, it would be 25% exactly if you wanted to go that direction.
so his portion of the partnership would be,
If you wanted to split it down the middle, center line goes east-west,
yeah,
it'd be 25% exactly
of 18 or 15?
of 18 or 15, which are roughly the numbers I came up with, roughly 3,700 and 4,600. We did two 25% numbers.
Okay.
But isn't that also due to the fact that he had donated a portion of it for us?
No,
Or no?
this is strict
That was-
frontage of the area that would be repaired. It's about 100 feet. Right now, his eastern frontage is, according to the last plat we got, it's roughly 110 feet. The other 10 feet is the existing concrete apron off 133rd that doesn't need to be touched. So it's roughly 100 feet. It's almost exactly.
Gotcha.
Mr. Kubiak, any thoughts immediately?
No, did we ever acquire the little piece of property by the dentist, by the Victor Germans from Vandernoord? Didn't they donate that to the town?
There has been a conveyance. That instrument is the subject of legal description review at the county. In fact, we were there today about it. It's anticipated we're gonna need to have an accurate legal description drafted, probably by the maker. Well, there's two parcels, but they're connected by the single key. So
I know they were like crazy, just
Well, they're-
random.
they actually touch, but barely on corners. So we've been studying this and working on the accuracy of the legal description at the county on this. I'm fully expecting that we're gonna need probably the most knowledgeable person about that entire legal description grid, Glenn Bourne from their firm. And we talked about that today. I'm likely to be meeting with or talking to Glenn in the next couple of days. Get a legal description, that'll clean up the deed, and they'll process it. Then we have that taken care of.
Okay, so Don, one more time. Their portion for the partnership, high and low?
The exact numbers would be, the low would be $3,762.21. The high would be $4,579.51.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts?
We're agreeable to that.
Yeah, we're fine.
That's fair.
Okay.
25%. We use a quarter of it.
Yeah, that would be,
Of the old or the new?
No,
You're okay with
All
the
of the spec.
the old spec, yeah.
old spec?
Yeah.
Okay, so the
well, I'm-
3,762.
well, we have two numbers here, and I think since we're
Yeah, right.
Since
That
we're
makes
not the suggestion is we not do it under the new standards. Is that your suggestion?
Per the last meeting, yeah, my suggestion is it's not similar to the alley that we did the new spec on from a few points of view. One, that's a main thoroughfare for semi trucks to go into Stratton Van Til and was dedicated as such. Also, Tech did improve that. However, that was more of a a green grass. They built a brand new building, et cetera. In this case, we had a derelict building that sat as an eyesore for many years. But more importantly, this has been there for many, many years, and it's got, tons of stone that have been laid. Therefore, it's not as soft as the other.
Well, that's why this is so cheap, is because the stone doesn't have to be
Yeah.
touched.
100% right.
So, all right, is, Chuck, any immediate thoughts?
Oh, it sounds fair, 25%.
Okay.
Sounds
Mr.
good,
Sharp?
Derek,
Yeah.
I'm
John
good with
Capora, you're good with that? John's good. Bob, any thoughts?
What is the difference between the 15,000 and the 18,000?
15,000 is the old thickness requirement. $18,000 would be the present standard.
Okay.
Heather, any thoughts?
No, not yet.
All right. Yes, Mr. Kubiak.
I just got one thing. I mean, we're working on getting a game plan to get the water main repaired to those buildings. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the condition of that alley is going to worsen drastically. than it is now.
Well, and I think that, yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to put some new base. I mean, by the time we get that water line in there, there's no other place to put it other than in the alley. There's really not enough room there to get it anywhere else.
We've got
So-
the shut off is all the way to the south, almost all the way south,
It's almost the edge.
right?
So-
From that point,
So you're telling us that the gravel won't be suitable for,
I'm just
Blacktop?
telling you that everybody's talking about how great the base is. That may be true as of today, but
You're gonna be cutting right through it, aren't you?
correct. That's all. I just wanted to make that I mean, we're gonna put it, obviously, we're gonna have to put some structure back in there, whatever the case may be, but I just want to make that clear that it's not gonna be that same stone that's been there for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you stay on the west side, you should be just about out of the roadway.
Right, but there's stuff in the way.
I don't know where you're going from, so I don't know.
Like the S main is in there, there's a lot of stuff
Mhm.
in the way, so.
so Don, this assurance money, pre-permit, any new thoughts based on what Mr. Kubiak just
I mean,
threw in
it's-
here?
It's up to you guys if you want to include that in the estimate. That obviously changes things.
Well, I think, I mean, I think as part of the town installing that water main, we're gonna have to provide the structure built. There's gonna have to be some kind of approval, but, I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Who's gonna be responsible to make sure that
we did throw some aggregate in there for the chance of undercuts. We put 20% of the total area for 18 and 10% for the lower one. So there is some consideration for some type of aggregate to be placed down there. Because we will have to do a proof roll before we lay anything down. If it doesn't pass, we're gonna cut it out, so. But nobody knows. It's unknown until they get through there.
certainly it's gonna be, it's probably gonna be in better shape than it is currently when we're using the water.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna, obviously, once we tear it up, we're gonna put the stone back in there, so I think the whole thing is that we'll put the stone base that's gonna be put in.
Put some
water.
You'll be putting in more than 10 inches of stone because the hubble keeps the water main. You guys find it found? So you'll have plenty of stone in there, in the trench at least.
Okay, Mr. Roshan, will there not have to be, won't there have to be some kind of legal documents for this assurance being put in escrow?
Well, this can be done one or two ways. One, Dick can write us a check, whatever it is.
Yeah, do that.
Or two is a legal document, which will do that. An escrow kind of document. But for the amount of money we're talking here, that's a question.
Yeah, okay.
Are you okay writing a check if
Yeah.
we asked you to?
The small amount, yeah, we'll
Yep.
give a check for that.
So those are the two options. Legal
So-
documents, relatively simple.
So there's nothing that has to run with the land?
Well, it'd be a recordable instrument, the escrow document.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a trigger date
And who has to provide that?
The legal document?
Yeah.
But if he gave us Mr. Austin, if he gave us a check for the $3,762.21 at the time he picked up the permit, wouldn't we just deposit it in the bank?
That's it. That can be done.
Okay.
It should be done if Mr. Hint wants to do it in the body of the motion. or
Okay.
contingency to the motion.
Okay. All right.
Condition of the motion, excuse me.
Well, I guess we got that hashed out quicker than I thought.
That works fine.
I guess the only other part of this is all the other things that haven't been addressed yet. So
Yeah, I-
you
I
yeah,
didn't
you
get a
get
chance to look at it, so-
you get two yeah.
At
So-
the last work session, Don, the items that need to be taken care of, we spent a lot of time on this road. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, a favorable recommendation for the Hen Commercial subdivision with the condition that they write a check for $37,62.21 at the time of permit issuance, as well as contingent on the letter being, the items in the letter from the engineer being addressed. And then
And John, shouldn't it also include a one-way in off of 133rd going south?
yeah, I think Tim said the street department's doing that.
Okay.
Last
Well,
work session.
Miss,
I mean,
hang
you're-
on, John.
By making
Hang
that
on.
motion, you're essentially making this a town project. Essentially,
The
the alleyway.
yeah, it is. a
So
town
yeah,
project.
we have, I mean, as part of the cost estimate, we have striping and signage too in there. So I just want to make that very clear
Oh, okay.
that
We
even
also-
if you don't get the 75%, it's still, that money is earmarked for that now effectively.
Well, then
So,
the additional portion of the alley would then also need to be striped
Yeah.
and marked as well. So
and we really can't do that until we get some of the land cleaned up through there. I mean, we could probably do their frontage, but the township parcel and the Vandernoor parcel aren't even owned.
I don't see us having that paved this year.
No, I doubt it.
Personally. In fact, if we're going to dig up and put a water main, it makes more sense to let the stone sit for 6 months and let it, you know, so that
Yeah.
makes the most. So
So
I'm
Don-
good with my motion.
How many contingencies are there, Don?
Our last letter was dated June 3rd. I think we had 2 existing comments regarding the actual preliminary plat for the one lot subdivision, and then we had 9 existing for the site plan. A couple of them come off based on the direction with the money and it basically turning into a town project. So you're probably down to 7 that are related to the property itself.
And those are real quick.
Revising concrete pavement section for the parking lot, striping. Some of the drainage issues along the southern property boundary need to be tidied up. Probably only 6 now. Review of the existing wall packs they're utilizing to make sure it meets the lighting ordinance. Again, some grade stuff. That's about it.
Drainage?
Yeah, he mentioned that, Bob, in the southern
Okay.
part of the property. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going back to, we kicked this thing for the last year. The building looks great. It's June 6th, 17th. We let the engineers handle the contingencies. I remember standing, collecting money for the Cedar Lake Pom Pom team last year about this time or at the end of the school year, and they were starting on it. So we want to make it easy for people to fix up buildings in our community, I feel. So that's why I've made the motion I did.
Okay, well, do I have a second on John's motion to, with all the contingencies and the 3762 check to be written?
It was a favorable recommendation as well.
Favor-
Motion.
You're not making a recommendation to approve.
Yeah, a motion to approve the Hen Commercial subdivision is what I thought I meant. Preliminary plat.
Okay, would anybody like to second Mr. Foreman's motion? Anybody doesn't understand it, please ask.
Yeah,
Heather?
can we start over with that?
Sure, Heather. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Hen Commercial subdivision. The petitioner's request of a preliminary plat for one lot subdivision. There is a condition to that motion, and that is that we adhere to the the one due in asphalt, which comes out to 376221, as well as contingent upon the items still left in the engineer's letter.
You understand, Heather? There's nine or so contingencies.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Would anybody like to second John's motion to the approval of the subdivision?
I'll second, Jerry.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Heather Dester.
Who seconded the motion?
Mr. Sharp.
Thank
Heather
you.
Dester.
No.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes?
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes.
John Capora.
Yes.
Jerry Wilkeny.
No. Motion carries 5-2. Okay. I guess,
Very good.
once you get the check,
Good luck
Tim, you
finding
issue the permit. Once you get the check,
We've got to go through final plat. Well, I guess you can issue the permit preliminary. Once you get the check.
You got about 18 comments.
19.
19.
Well, we got a road permit. And but, yeah, we'll
Good.
get that taken care of at some point in the near future, I would imagine. So, I mean, he'll have that done before he final plat. That'll be receiving that check will be a conditional final plat. Then that way it'll be done.
Yes, we
Before he
can
comes
just-
back for a final plat, whatever time that may
Can
be.
we do that?
That will be reported to you that it is paid in full by that point.
I trust you.
We will make sure that we have it right for that next step.
All right.
Sounds good.
Good deal.
Let's grow the TIF.
All right.
Bob, let's get the TIF district
All
going.
right.
Definitely. Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, new business, Birchwood Final Plat Phase 1. Owner petitioner Hanover Development LLC, vicinity 12400 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting final plat for 36 lots and 3 outlots. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, good evening, Jeff Yatsko with Old Toff Homes. We are seeking final plat approval for Birchwood Farms Phase 1. This is 36 lots and 3 outlots. We got the letter today. All outstanding items on the final plat were taken care of. We received our letter of credit amount, so I forwarded that to the bank. We'll get that shortly, along with the development. Answer any questions that you have.
Good with everything?
We got the revised plat earlier this week or late last week. Everything's good. We've been working pretty diligently with the items in the field. Everything's accepted and verified. So we do have numbers if you'd like them now.
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Mr. Austin, everything's in order?
It is with an approval of the insertions into the various documents to be made related to this phase of the final plat. So they can be completed. Those documents have been trailing, awaiting for these moments. So it'll be referenced in the PUD ordinance, the PUD agreement.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kapoor, any thoughts?
I'm good.
You're good? Heather, Bob?
I have, in Don's letter, he said partially addressed it for Pond A, B, and C. Don, have those items been corrected as of now?
They have not, but I noted in our as-built letter that we're withholding some money from the detention basin excavation pay item, which is still included in the letter of credit. It didn't make a difference in what they have to post because they are below the minimum reduction of 25%. So we still need to work through some of that stuff, but we have made that clear to Olthoff that we'll get through it, but we still have some surety in there to make sure it gets fixed.
Could you kind of explain like sleeves for A, and it sounded like pitch for B, and see was some sort of webbing or something.
They still need to install what they call a GeoWeb. It's essentially stabilization for access, for basically an access road into the pond if they ever need to maintain it. The other things were verifying that safety shelves were built on the side slopes in accordance with their approved plans, essentially a flat shelf down near the normal water level. Some of the survey they submitted didn't really make it very clear if it was constructed correctly or not.
Okay.
You good, Bob?
Yes.
So, Don, minimal contingencies? Hardly any?
There really aren't. I mean, we've left items in there where, you know, they still have to be properly constructed or not constructed at all, which is typical of a letter of credit.
Okay.
But they're down to the minimum level now. So, I mean, they've done a lot of work. Everything's at the binder out there. All the ponds are in, curbs are in. So they're ready.
Okay. Why don't you give us those numbers real quick?
All right, I'll give you three numbers. First one's just the overall letter of credit, and you'll see how far it's come down. The initial cost of this phase for public improvements was $2,260,280.75. The minimum allowable amount and what they will post the performance letter of credit will be $565,070.19. And then the 3% inspection fee is $67,808.42. And that's summarized in our June 17th letter that went out this afternoon. And the MS4 fee, which have you guys paid that already? Yeah, I think I paid it already. Yeah, that's part of it too. So
we,
that's also in the letter.
we started out at 2.2 million and they got enough done to
Just over $500,000.
get over $500,000. Okay. All right. Mr. Carnahan, any thoughts?
No, it looks good to me from what I looked over and what's been said.
Okay. Heather, any thoughts?
No, I'm impressed with the work and I'm happy.
Okay. Mr. Austin, anything else here? Everything's good? All right. Chuck? Good. Mr. Sharp?
Good.
Good. Don, you're good?
Good.
Good. John's good. Tim?
Yep, I'm good.
Good.
Everything-
Michelle's good. Everybody's good? Okay. All right. Well, then I guess we need a motion regarding the petitioner's final plat for 36 lots and 3 outlots and approval of the numbers Don has given. Inspection fees and letter of credit, performance letter of credit.
I'd like to make a positive motion for final plat for the 36 lots and 3 outlots with the conditions that Don had mentioned. Also, the letter of credit being dropped down to the 565,070 and 19 cents, as well as the other numbers Don discussed.
I'll second that.
A motion by John Foreman. We have a second by John Capora. Roll call, please.
Heather Dussauer,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Yes.
John Capora,
Yes.
and Jerry Wilkman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, perfect.
Give me a second. All right, next item. Papese rezone. Richard and Karen Papese, 9710 Genevieve Drive, St. John. Vicinity, 8029 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake, Indiana, 46303. Petitioner is requesting a rezone from RM to R2. And I know we had some discussion regarding driveways and easements and all those other items. Everything's good with that, Dave?
It is, we're not done. It's going to be an item that will be appended to this plat and property, so in dialogue with Stu now.
Right.
Okay. Don?
Nothing. We'll relook at this again, that final plat.
So is this ready to be voted on, or are we?
For a rezone, we don't have any comments on the actual rezone.
Public hearing.
Okay.
However, in the legal-
Okay. Would you have a seat real quick, and I'll ask for any
Okay.
comments? Anybody remonstrance for or against this item? Anyone? Anyone online, Michelle?
I have no hand raised online. No email.
Nothing. Okay. You step back up, I guess.
Okay. Make me exercise.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion to change this from RM to R2.
I have a question.
Yes, Bob.
When they go out on to leave the property and go on Lakeshore Drive, will they have to make a right turn and not make a left turn?
That probably would be advisable, Bob.
Yeah, go in a circle. There's
Yeah,
a
they got-
roundabout there.
They got to leave counterclockwise.
All right.
Unless they're walking, they take sidewalk.
Okay.
That's right.
Right.
Heather, any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Good. Okay. Bob's good. Heather's good. John's are good. Okay. Everybody's good. Okay. Everybody like to make a motion? Sorry, recommendation. Anybody like to make a recommendation?
So moved.
A motion by Chuck, second by
Second.
Mr. Sharp.
I think that's favorable.
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 Favorable. Both motions are favorable.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Roll call, please.
Heather Dessauer,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Yes.
John Capura,
Yes.
Jerry Wilkins.
Yes. Unanimous.
Very good.
Good luck to
Very
you.
good.
All right, thank you.
July 7th.
July 7th.
Yeah.
Same room, July 7th. We won't, most of us won't be here.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next item, Beacon Point East subdivision / rezone. Owner petitioner Beacon Point of Cedar Lake LLC, 8900 Wicker Avenue. Vicinity 9000 West, 41st Avenue, Cedar Lake. Petitioner is requesting preliminary plat for 159 lot subdivision. Welcome.
Good evening, Jack Slager with Schilling Development, representing Beacon Point. As you mentioned, we're here for the next two items on the agenda, both requesting primary plat for the subdivision and the rezone, which is from of RM and RT zoning into a PUD, PUD zoning. We did the advertising and notices for the hearing tonight, and we've had the plan in front of you for a number of meetings. I know we're working through Don's punch list. I believe we're about 95% through that. Jack Hulse is here from DVG, also, who's working with Don on the punch list. And we've also, our attorney, Richard Anderson, is working with David Austin on the PUD documents and the contract with the town. The plan hasn't really changed. We have 159 lots, a combination of duplexes and cottage homes. And, yeah, so if there's any question, any specific question.
Just for the record, Jack, the RM to R2 zoning request will reduce the original density by how many addresses?
The original design for the site under the RM and RT zoning had 279 units, and we were proposing 159 units, so reduction of about 120.
Okay, all right. Okay, just for the record, in case anybody's concerned. Okay, anybody have any questions right now?
I do.
Hey, Bob, go ahead.
All right, on the DVG of June 12th, it indicates that there's 37 duplexes and 85 single family for a total of 159 dwellings. That doesn't add up to 159. So is that number wrong?
Duplexes are two.
Yeah, there's two. That's what duplex means.
Yep.
Lots and units.
Yeah, 37 times 2 is 74 for the duplex units, and then 85 cottage homes.
So the duplexes would be 2 times 37?
Correct.
Okay. Clarification there.
Thanks, Bob. You good?
Yeah. Don, didn't you have something or somebody have something in there about Sleepy Hollow Ditch?
There was I did make a motion. I did make a mention of Sleepy Hollow Ditch and anything that may need to be done, not by the developer per se, but by the people responsible for the ditch. I made mention that there's anything that need to be done sooner than later would be a good time. I just got that on the record, Bob, and whatever happens to it, happens to it.
All right.
So, anybody else have anything right this minute?
Not right
Okay.
now.
Yes.
It's a public hearing, the legals are in order.
Okay.
Public hearing should be conducted
Okay.
on both items.
I do, okay. Would you have a seat real quick? I'm going,
Off the map, please.
what? Oh. Do you have a printed version of that you could give that gentleman?
I'd like one too.
Okay. Sure thing. I don't believe you can.
I'll second that, please. I have it in my car. I don't see it in here. Yeah.
Is that something you can give them, Michelle?
Oh, that's the original?
He wants the layout.
Yes, let me go make some copies. We just need to make some copies
Yep.
of that sheet.
That one right there. Yep.
Yeah, either one.
Yep. That would answer a lot of questions. Okay. All right. Well, while Michelle's getting you some copies of that,
I printed half a dozen or so, Michelle.
I'm going to ask for remonstrance in a minute. However, I do have a submission here by Richard McFarland from 13816 Lowerman Street, Planning Commission, new business, Cedar Lake, Indian 403. It says your question here. This isn't really a question. It just says, I would like to express my objection to the rezoning of 9000 West 141st Avenue to a PUD. So that's from Mr. McFarland. I don't think we have any other written correspondence of any kind.
Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 of them here in the packet.
Yeah, I don't see any emails, Jerry.
Page 42 on the packet.
Page 42.
I mean, Sarah, on the-
42. Here we go. Thanks, Don. I have another submission from Jeremy and Sarah Pena. Their address is 13724 Austin Street, Planning Commission, City Lake. Your question, my concern with the rezoning of Beacon Point East is multifaceted. First, you will see increasing amounts of traffic on and around Parish Avenue and consequently 137th Avenue. Second, as a parent of students who attend Hanover schools, I can attest to the fact that the school system is already overwhelmed by the number of students and is already in need of more space. If you add more housing in what was originally zoned, you will continue to overwhelm the school system as more families move in. Finally, there are trees that currently divide the property between Winding Creek 2 and the proposed property above. How much of that tree line will be taken down will these new homes be visible to the residents of Winding Creek, or will the tree line be left alone? Because of these concerns, we do not think Beacon Point East should be rezoned to include more homes. So
I'd like to comment on that based on what was.
hang on, Bob. Hang on.
Okay.
Are the Peñas online? Are they online anywhere or in this room?
Doesn't
No,
look like it.
no. Okay. Go ahead, Bob.
They could go ahead and build without getting the rezone, and they could do 279. And so there's going to be a lot less traffic with the duplexes and the single families of 159.
Yes, and I think also, for the record, the developer has discussed multiple products, even more products than before, with more architectural aesthetics. So we don't have the cookie cutter kind of syndrome here. I guess I would ask Mr. Slager to come back up for the record, and the school system and the overcrowding, I think we've covered that. How much of the trees along Winding Creek are going to be disturbed?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm getting requests to speak louder. They can't hear you.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously you discussed the density and the traffic, the school impact, the demographic for this product is typically the empty nester. So we're not seeing a lot of young families in both Beacon Point and Beacon East. But again, we've got less density than there is currently. The tree line, we've made quite an effort to conserve the tree line that is there all along Sleepy Hollow Ditch, and also an additional buffer of the retention pond adjacent to that tree line. So the units themselves are pulled quite a ways away from the ditch, and any trees that are there, we're going to try to conserve. There's probably a good 30-foot tree buffer along the creek that we're going to keep.
Okay, while you're there, Michelle?
Can we pause 1 second?
Yes.
I'm
Take a break.
getting a few messages that need to go on chat.
It's working.
Sounds like it, yeah.
He's too tall.
Seriously, it's a blocker. So yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna conserve as many trees as we can.
So, Michelle, if somebody wanted a copy of that, other than the folks you just made them for, they could come in and pick one up
Absolutely.
so they can see what and now that's the paper that was given out. Is that to some scale?
I doubt it.
Not.
Okay.
No, it's
all
a
right.
rendering.
Okay.
Just a concept.
So again, to this particular question, the trees are probably going to remain.
Yep, as many as we can, and
Okay.
hopefully all of them.
Yeah, because they're down by the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all along the creek's edge.
Okay. Well, I hope that answers the Peña's question, or many questions.
And Jerry, can I intervene for 1 second?
Yes.
Just so we're all very clear, we are taking down the unit numbers.
Yes.
The rezone is not adding, it's
Yes.
actually subtracting.
Yes. Yes. The RM is going to be gone, and it's going to be R2. And it looks like my math shows 220 less. 120. Sorry.
I don't think it's gonna be it's gonna be.
Sorry, it's going to be PUD. But the density is going to be reduced by 120 at the request of the developer, because they could do 279, as Bob said.
Right. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I guess I need to read this next one. Three more. I'm going with, hello, my name is Andy Knack.
Okay, if
Let
you
me-
want to,
Let me read what he wrote. And then he's he online?
I don't see him on there.
Okay.
But these are the responses throughout the day that I gave him this information.
I got you. Hello, my name is Andy Knack. I'm a resident of Winding Creek 2, residing at 9119 West 137th Place. Everyone on the south side of 137th Place received a letter regarding the rezoning of the farm field that our lots back up to on the other side of the creek that runs behind our backyards. There is major concerning regarding rezoning from dual family to multifamily, row housing behind us on that property. The concerns are not only the aesthetics of how that will look, looking behind us, but also the footprint these structures will have. As of now, obviously behind us on the land up for rezoning is all farm field and the drains into the creek behind us. When we have heavy rains, the creek will swell to 40 feet wide into our backyards. The Army Corps of Engineers already is back there keeping tabs on the high water marks and flags to monitor how high the water gets. The concern is by adding all the multifamily homes with large footprints, parking area, sidewalks, streets, et cetera, where will all the water run off go that now is soaking into the farm field, and we still get very high creek levels with rain. All of us have invested significantly in these homes and lots for beauty and privacy of the woods and creek behind us, and are afraid that will be destroyed with this rezoning. We just want to make sure our homes are in consideration with this plan and our concerns are addressed. The homes that would be affected on the south side of 137th Place in Winding Creek 2 all have great property value, well over 300K, and we just want to keep our property value where it is currently. Thank you for your time and consideration. Michelle responded, Andy, thank you for submitting the questions and concerns. I will print and give her comments to the members of tonight's meeting. I would like to clarify the property is currently rezoned RM and RT, and the owner would like to rezone PUD consisting of R2 two-family and R2 residential single-family homes. I have attached their conceptual plan, great, that was submitted for your reference. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. Thanks again for sending over the plan from Schilling. I really appreciate this. This is from Andy and Michelle. Wait. Yeah, this is your response to Andy?
This is his response.
Thanks for sending over the plan from Schilling. I really appreciate it. The paired villas and cottage homes would be great. My in-laws actually built in Beacon Point in a paired villa, and they're beautiful. That is good news. Sorry. One more item, if you could possibly be asked, if the retention ponds Schilling is planning that run next to the creek on the north end to be continuous. On the north end of the subdivision, instead of that one cul-de-sac on the north end that goes right next to the creek. Hopefully that would help with the water runoff into the creek and our backyards if the retention pond continued instead of that cul-de-sac. Thanks so much for hearing our concerns and bringing them up due to the social distancing with the meeting tonight. Again, I appreciate it very much. Andy Knack. Michelle responded, thanks again for responding. So I guess that question, Don, none of the water on their property will be leaving there without being controlled, correct?
For the most part, and a couple of rear yards that they can't pick up. So they have basically take a penalty to their allowable release rate because of that. So they get further reduced, have to provide additional volume to make up for some of those rear lots that they just can't pick up the grades. But
Okay.
for the most part, yes.
And Don, you're also working on a stormwater project over there by 142nd, Larman, and 137, correct, on the stormwater board?
If you're referring to Noble Oaks,
Yeah.
yes, but that won't have any bearing on this concern or Beacon Point East. It'll be its own little system, which will part of that does outlet to Sleepy Hollow.
But it won't help Winding Creek.
No, that's downstream of Winding Creek.
Okay.
Our comments were
Yes, they're providing because they are filling not rather insignificantly in the floodplain. They do have to replace that volume actually at a penalty. So they have to replace it at 1.5 to 1. So they actually get 50% more volume in the creek than there was before. It's not a lot, but it's something.
But he seemed pretty satisfied after Michelle emailed him, but I did want to point out too that Sleepy Hollow Ditch actually flows east and south. And the majority of our ponds are both east and south of Windy Creek. So
yeah,
we can't really affect this area
Minus
here
just
when
a-
everything's flowing south.
So for the answer to the question is their ponds are going to be draining on their property to the south.
The two biggest ones actually
This one,
turn a majority of the water down kind of in their east boundary versus it kind of splitting north and east in a way.
Yeah.
So they're actually sending it further downstream.
as we've said on many of the developments, we'll be controlling the water leaving the site rather than the open field runoff that it gets now. So,
And that's ultimately the answer to the question, I think.
It should be better.
yeah, it should be
Yes.
better.
Okay. All right. Jeremy and Kathy Ward, 9135 West 137th Place. Their question is, my concern is twofold. This rezoning is adding even more to our congestion on the roads in town. Also, this is going to add more to our already overwhelmed schools. Any concern for even more of a rise in taxes? Well, that's a tough question.
Well, there again, we're building in Cedar Lake, but there's also buildings going on in Hanover Township, unincorporated, and the Gates of St. John, which also contributes to the school system. And I don't see anybody complaining to them about their building.
Yep, I understand, Bob. I'm not sure, I mean, we're going to be talking about traffic here in a little while, but I'm not sure this is really the place for school discussions.
And there again on the traffic, it's going to have a lot less traffic with 120 less structures of the 279 they could have built if they didn't get the PUD. And with the PUD, it's only 159 to comment again on what I said prior.
Yep, I think you're right, Bob. I agree with you. This is way better than it could be. So, anybody else want to comment on this?
Well, that probably doesn't know when the original development was laid out, how many people or how many structures were available. What time was that? What was the date on that? What year was that?
2007, 2008.
Bob might have voted for it.
That's what people need to understand.
Yeah.
This was approved back in 2002, 2008, and they want to make left.
As I said, we'll be talking about traffic here probably in a little while. So, that's just my hunch. Okay, I have another one here from, let's see, Rick Bona. Hi, Michelle. I have a few questions concerning the Beacon Point subdivision. First, I have adjoining property to the development, and I am concerned about flooding along the Sleepy Hollow ditch. With the loss of farmland and the raised rail track berm on the west end, how is the rainwater being dispersed to prevent flooding? That's one question. Will it affect my lot zoning in the future? Second question is, third question. Second, being a 159 lot subdivision, there will be a lot of traffic going out on 141st Avenue with only one primary entrance. If there is a road construction or accident, the flow of traffic will be hindered. I remember when the Twin Creek subdivision residents in Munster were stranded because there was only one entrance and it was basically shut down because of the Hart Ditch flooding over. Richard Bona.
Michelle, does he have an address?
Yes.
Wait, I can
No.
tell you the parcel. He doesn't live there. It's the southwest corner of 139th and Lowerman, and the piece south of that, which actually straddles the ditch. So it's that little notch. Those two vacant parcels.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, I think we've covered most of these things. Storm, go ahead.
I believe that the majority of these people are also attending online, and I'd like to know if they would like to ask any additional questions or if their questions have been answered right now.
But we got people in the audience too, though.
Yeah.
But I'm just-
Yeah, I want to get to the people who are here. I guess, let's get through this and then, we'll pull the, audience up here and we should be good. I guess that was the last one, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Regarding Beacon Point East, do we have any remonstrance for or against? Anyone like to speak?
I have a few questions.
Okay, come to the podium, state your name and address.
My name's Kelly Winecoop, 9010 West 141st Avenue. I'd rather it be a PUD, but first off, is the subdivision going to be allowed no fences? Okay, what about boundary fences for our property? That boundary, the boundary of it for privacy?
You would be allowed to put up a fence if that's what you're asking.
Well, you,
So
well,
you have no intention of putting any fences up, correct?
Correct.
You mean correct?
Okay. So your second entrance, there won't be any fence up on that area either? Okay, is the pond's gonna be aerated?
Yeah, that's our intention.
Well, for health reasons, I need to know.
Sure.
Because if not, I will have issues.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
All the ponds will be aerated or just the one down on the south
The
end?
one that's right off my driveway. My
Yeah,
grandson's allergic to
Wet ponds are
mosquitoes.
required to be aerated, so they need to provide something. It's one of our comments that needs to be
Well,
addressed.
it appears in this plan, there's like a walking trail. These people will be like looking in my garage. They're gonna be like right next. Is there any way that walking trail can go around the other end of the pond?
Well, the intention of the walking trail, there's already sidewalk on 3 sides of the pond, so the intention of the walking trail was to allow people to be able to walk completely around the pond. We're just connecting the sidewalks that are already on 3 sides.
Okay, how many feet between that pond and my property line?
30 feet.
30 feet. So I'm gonna have dogs, kids, whoever, possibly in my yard. Okay, so when do you plan to start this project?
Assuming we get approval soon, we would hope to start with the first phase this fall.
Okay, and you will keep the 2 entrances? Because when was the last traffic study done on this road on 141st?
No,
With a
that's-
counter, not,
Hang on. We discussed the traffic issue. You guys have a traffic study of some sort?
I
And
mean-
you did or you will?
We have the counts.
I'm ready to discuss it with you if you would like.
Okay. All right. The traffic will be discussed here shortly.
okay,
So we'll jump to that.
all right, well,
What else? What other
familiar
questions?
with call volume in town? You know, there's gonna be no fences. I would like a boundary fence. We have a great problem with animals in this town. There's a huge problem going on in Centennial as we speak. So, I'm a little concerned about that. You know, that's why I would like a boundary fence. I mean, I don't wanna, it's not that I don't like animals, but I have animals. I keep my animals locked up. A lot of people don't. I don't wanna be scraping people's animals off the road either, because that, with the traffic on that road is unbelievable.
Yep.
And Friday, there was a little chihuahua I was trying to save, and chihuahuas are mean, and it did not want to be saved. So, I mean, there's concerns there. I'm much happier with the 159 units and the PUD and the cottage homes versus multifamily.
This is going to be way better in that aspect.
Well, yeah,
Way
definitely.
better.
I understand that, but I mean, I just have concerns. And with that pond, I just have to have aeration. Allergic to mosquitoes.
Hello there. State your name
My
and
name
address,
is
please.
Mark Van Horn. I live at 9019 West 141st Avenue. I've been there for over 65 years. And I know you're gonna get into the traffic here a little bit later, which is my main concern. Because I'm retired, I'm at home most of the time. And I would say in the last year, traffic on that road, 141st, has doubled, maybe even tripled. And that's not even with this development yet. My other concern is there gonna be 2 entrances and exits? There will be. Because if there's one, that's gonna cause a problem with again, the traffic. And also too, with all those new developments going in, the traffic coming in and out of there, lights are gonna come up on my property and at night, it's shining on my property. And believe me, after 65 years, I go along with progress, but man, all those lights are something else.
Let me stop you a second. Do you guys have a traffic plan? And do you have anything showing 141st and what your immediate thoughts are?
I do not have a copy of our traffic study.
Oh, okay,
I just
all right.
forwarded it right now.
Okay, the study, but I'm talking about the blister, as I've heard, and all that. Is there a drawing of some kind for that?
But I'd like to discuss it in the report.
All right.
If you'd like to do that.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Van Horn.
Because I just wonder how you came up with the traffic report.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I don't know how they come up with that because usually they put lines or whatever on the roads and traffic goes over. I haven't seen that for years. So I
Okay.
don't know how they come up with that. I don't know.
We're gonna figure out real quick.
So I think as long as there's gonna be 2 entrances. And as far as what I see on the picture here. I can show you, sir. We're coming off here and here. Correct. Because I had an understanding for a while it was gonna be 1. I wouldn't have gone along with that.
It's just a little west of your house, I think, the entrance. We're looking at it on the GIS right now. So yeah, you're gonna get,
Yeah, there's no residence directly across from either entrance as far as headlights or.
yeah, the main entrance is west of you, just a little bit, sir.
Okay, but I've got the Todds living next door to me. And when you go to turn to go south,
Yep.
141st coming off of 41 is probably what? The second main road off of 41. So there's a lot of traffic. Could be a lot of lights coming off that going to the south end of the lake.
So, okay, we're gonna hear the traffic thing and you'll have an opportunity to come back up.
Okay. That's my concern right now.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
sir.
Anyone else? Name and address for the record, please.
How you doing? My name is Ricky Wilson. I live at 8920 West 141st Avenue. Couple concerns that I have is, one, I'm glad in 2 entrances. One of my concerns is though is your second entrance, I suppose, is this big one, correct? Okay. This right here runs directly right behind my garage and the rest of my property on the east side. So you're planning on putting sidewalks there?
Yes.
Okay, how far is that sidewalk gonna be from my property line? Cause I own 3 feet of right behind my garage of that property.
Typically, the sidewalk will go right on the property.
Okay, with that being said, I also have the tree line that runs down that side. What is gonna end up happening with that? That ain't getting touched, right?
Yeah, we'll have to look at it and see. I don't know exactly where the trees are in relation to the property line. There's a possibility we can wiggle the sidewalk around the trees.
Okay, and then I also have the tree line in the back part of my property as well. So
On your property,
how much okay, so none of them yards is gonna be coming past my property line?
Okay, again, yeah, again, if that stuff's on your property, they can't touch it.
Okay,
Actually, it looks like there's just one lot that kind of goes
It's like a pie-shaped lot.
pie-shaped, so it's
Yeah.
not a bunch of backyards. You're just
Okay.
gonna have one.
the 2 entrances, that's good. I'd like to make, it'd be good to keep it that way. I'm glad to see that this is down to 159 units instead of the original 279 you was gonna put. But I was kind of in agreement with Wine Coop about privacy fence. I mean, right here, I'm gonna have that road right coming right along literally like right behind my garage. You'll have my garage, then you'll have the sidewalk, then you'll have the road. See what I mean?
Oh, Mr. Kubiak, just for reference, how long ago was that roadway approved? The roadway, the 60-foot strip. So we're talking about,
Yeah, 07.
so it's been,
I get
I mean, the
that.
potential for that's been there a long time.
Okay, I've been there 6
Yeah,
years, so this,
gotcha.
this is the first I've heard about this since the subdivision, with this development coming in. I'm just a little concerned due to the fact I have a 9-year-old girl that plays around, I don't want cars whipping in and out and something happen to my kid because it's so close. Legitimate concern.
So what are
You know
your,
what I mean?
do you have any opinions on traffic?
I just, the two entrances is fine. I mean, you're gonna have more congestion on 141st now. But I mean, like you guys said, you're gonna do a traffic study or whatever. And hopefully that traffic study comes up to where it's not gonna be that big of an issue. But I was just more concerned about how the road's gonna lay out with the sidewalks with my property being so close.
You, he has a paper, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. I've never been here before.
Yeah. Well,
Doug Wine,
don't be nervous.
West 141st Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. I'd like to condemn Jack and Schilling. They do a wonderful job at development. My concerns are the second entrance, because I got a little word that you were talking about taking that one out, and now it sounds like it's all back together. So I'd like for that to stay. The other is my concern with the fence with the along their subdivision and my property. And my question is, how deep's that pond gonna be? Do you know?
5.
5 to 7.
I think it's 5 feet of bounds.
I think you
5
ought to
foot
add
of water level.
another 10 on it.
Yeah.
Throw some crappie in there.
Depth, it'll be.
Hang on, I can't write that.
6, 8 feet. Right.
Anyway, the deeper the better. There is a lot of water running from the south underneath 141st to that pond. Then it goes over on a 45-degree angle behind my property and Mr. Wilson's property into approximately 3 12-inch drain tiles that are there now. So there is a lot of water. But as long as I'm here because of the road, I'd like to have 2 entrances, because I was even thinking 3 because I was looking at the first beacon point. But after seeing this, and I should have thought of it, is that that creek going through there cost some arm and leg. So definitely 2 entrances. Other than that, from 279 units down to 159, I think that's a great job they've done there. And the other thing is the fences and the aeration. That's all I have. And other than that, I'm in favor of it.
Okay, Mr. Weincoop and I have talked on the phone a couple of occasions about his
Thank you.
concerns.
Thanks, Doug.
So,
Thank you.
The drainage from south 141st, we picked up into the retention basin. And then they will also provide a drain tile survey. We'll pick up anything that we need to pick up as far as those go.
Yeah, that's actually being done next week. And you could see the layout took into account the major drainage coming from across the street through the pond and goes right through this valley. So it's set up for the stormwater overflow, that it's not going to go between houses or in between yards, but there's a nice natural channel that exists and will be maintained for that water flow.
we want to
get
make
through
sure
there.
our south and north stormwater is working perfect. Okay, one more remonstrance, maybe 2. State your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Marianne Wilson, 8920 West 141st Avenue. I would also appreciate the lowering of the houses from 279 to 159. I think that's amazing. And the 2 entrances, I applaud that. Thank you. I hope you keep that. That's great. Again, I would think the fences would be great only because, again, 3 feet, right here would be would be nice. So somebody's not walking their dog and writing on my garage or something, thinking that's their new chalkboard. It'd be, a little bit of separation, saying, hey, hopefully there's a fence there, and they won't do that. But also, is there like for the traffic or something, can you put a stop sign or can we do something for that? I don't know if that would be you or them or something, but so it's not a drag strip going down 141st. Because at night we can hear people, and with new houses in both subdivisions, tracks and on our side, it's a drag strip now. And with the new subdivision they're putting in, and with the subdivision over there, and then Centennial, and I know the new one you guys are putting down by the school, it's even more of a drag strip. So, just with everything going on, somewhere you guys need a break. There needs to be, just
regarding the
So,
traffic,
I know
I
you
don't
to
just,
that
I
point,
don't
but-
just, I don't personally don't disagree with any of your concerns about the traffic.
So,
It's just a matter of time before 141st is just as busy as Parish.
oh yes, for
But
sure.
we're going to hear about the traffic and traffic study and the traffic plan here in a minute.
Yes.
So if you have any
So-
more questions, when they're done with that, you can come back up.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I had one more question.
Yes, Doug?
I would like to eliminate that walking trail next to my yard if possible, Chad. Yeah, that's.
That makes a pond.
People coming up, looking in my kitchen window. I'd rather eliminate that.
Okay. All right. Got that for the record? Okay. All right, no more remonstrance.
One more thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Come on up.
Can we actually, and I don't know if this, can we get rid of the walk? I'm sorry. Can we get rid of the sidewalk on our side of the property?
I don't think, I'm not sure
And
that's,
put it on one side only?
I'm not sure that's
Okay.
where the board may be going with that. Sidewalks are almost a must.
I didn't know if it could be, it had to be on both sides of the street or if it
Almost.
could only be on one.
I think they're required on both sides.
Are
I
they
think.
required on both sides?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
Well, if I
Good.
may make
Go
a
ahead.
comment, if you look at the GIS that Michelle has up presently, the wine coop home is the one to the west, the old Lutheran church, I think, right? Rectory house. And so that is very close to the walking trail. And then if you think about the distance of is it the Wilsons? Yes. Home, which is east of the second entrance. So maybe perhaps a good compromise could be a fence on the west side of the wine coop house and the east side of the second entrance. Excuse me. Because then it wouldn't be a tunnel of fences. And it would give you some privacy.
So
Well-
much worried about the fence along the roadway, John. I'm more worried about the back where the homes will be up against the property.
Oh, I see.
So John, you're suggesting a short piece of fence
Yeah.
along the Wilson's property?
Right. And the wine coops, but maybe I just think a tunnel coming down from the second entrance would look hideous.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a,
Here and here, but you did a fence here for those folks, and here for those folks. It kind of gives us the best of both worlds. It'd be like. And it would look ugly.
but yeah, but they wouldn't put fences on the west side of the second entrance because there's buildable lots there.
Just the east side. I don't want to put fence on the
No,
east.
no, but you were suggesting it would look like a tunnel and you couldn't put fences there because those lots on the east side, the west side of that second entrance are buildable lots.
Correct.
Okay, Tim, yes, sir.
I mean, we're discussing residential property and doing residential property.
Yep, yep, yes,
Isn't in the
yes.
Nowhere in the ordinance.
Well,
Residential to residential, I mean, residential to commercial is we get into
Yeah.
yes. Well, it is a PUD and, yep, if anybody has some concerns, now's the time to mention them. Okay, which one of the Jacks wants to discuss traffic?
You want to come up here? We'll talk about it together. I think the last,
We don't have to be. Why, you got somebody on?
I just wanted to make sure that we were good on.
Okay.
all right about
Heather, Bob, you have anything?
No, but just to mention one thing, we've got two different motions that need to be made here. One is for preliminary plat for 159 lot subdivision, and then the other one is to send a recommendation to the town council for the rezone.
Yes, sir.
so we'll talk about traffic a little bit. We've studied this both before and after last meeting. We had kicked around some different ideas. We talked about a decel lane. We talked about a passing blister. After further research over the last couple of weeks, the biggest hurdle is the south side of 141st. The existing right-of-way is 20 feet. So the existing roadway, the single lane of the existing roadway is about 12 feet. And you still have to get a roadside ditch and utilities in there. So there is not room to put a passing blister on the south side. There isn't enough width there. I would say that there's a large vacant parcel there. And my guess is within time that will be developed and there will be an opportunity to widen the right of way and provide a widening at that point. We are increasing the right of way on the north side to 30. And so we've got some extra width on the north side, but Jack has the numbers in terms of traffic count that you can maybe talk about a little bit, what they found and what the requirements would be for either a passing lane or a turning lane.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Robin in our office is a traffic engineer, and she did the study so in 2018, NDOT studied 141st and Parish and has posted counts for that road. I believe it's probably in scope of some work that the town was considering for an intersection at 141st and Parish. And the counts there are 1,500 cars per day total. So that's both directions. When a traffic engineer looks at level of service is what they call that. So level of service, when you would consider going to passing blisters and right turn lanes, would start at about 5,000 cars per day, up to 10,000 cars per day. That's kind of the threshold where you begin to even consider it. For example, we're doing a project in DeMont right on Halleck Street. So that's the main road that goes through that street. Well, that's State Road 2, I believe, that goes to our 10. That goes through town.
231.
Through DeMont.
But anyhow.
So anyways, that's an NDOT road. That's 12,000 per day. We're doing a Taco Bell to turn in, and we just barely met the merits for a right passing blister or a left for a passing blister for NDOT on that road. So put that in comparison for 141st, we're significantly less cars than a scenario like that. As we've done studies as far as level of service, so this would be considered below level service A. When you put it into the modeling, the peak wait time for somebody turning left into the main entrance is 2.6 seconds, which is basically the amount of time that they need to determine whether or not they can turn left. There's no real hindrance from oncoming traffic, just from a matter of timing. Now, are you going to get the situation where you have somebody actually waiting there? Yes, but when from a study perspective, even in peak flows, it's not something that we're concerned about. At the other entrance, we're looking at 1.1 seconds. So again, these are just basically the amount of time that it takes you to size up whether you can actually turn or not. Leaving the subdivision, we have like a 9-second wait, but that includes the time that it takes you the study takes for you to turn to the left and turn to the right and actually proceed. So that's basically considered a free flow condition, and that is using the flows from this subdivision and all the adjacent subdivisions there. As far as, let me say, well, what if for expansion? So NDOT would only allow you to use a 1% growth rate on a traffic increment, so like they've studied this in 2018 at 1,500 cars. The most you could add per year is another 15 cars to that traffic study. So 2 years later, we've got maybe 30 cars. So now it's not like we're going up so significantly that it's going to change the scope of things. One of the comments that Don had was access at the main entrance. Maybe we would want to enhance that a little bit on our side of the road so that ingress and egress there would be a little bit easier. And we've done that. We've gone to a little bit bigger radius. I think they're 30s, which would be consistent with what we did on Beacon Point.
Yeah, so because of the restricted right of way on the south side, we can't do the passing blister, although we would have liked to. But at least pulling in and out of the subdivision, we've increased the radiuses to 30 feet. So you don't have to slow as much going in there. They're both the in and the out are 2 lanes wide, 24 feet wide going in, 24 feet wide going out. So there's no restriction if there were, say, a truck pulling in there like you wouldn't fit, or he has to slow down and stop traffic. So the flow in and out should be really good, and actually better than it was before Don suggested increasing the radiuses. So
Well, I think the unique situation here is to get to the marina. There's only 2 good ways to go.
Yeah,
and that's one of them. No passing blister for all the boats that are,
But they're going to have to wait 2 seconds more in order to get to the marina on the Saturday morning, which is not
wait for somebody.
Traffic, we can do whatever you want. Okay. But
well,
there's not a warrant.
So at this point, Don, there is no blister.
No.
You mean correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's back up a little bit. At one of the work sessions, there was talk of no turn lane, correct? So what if you did like they did on Parrish Avenue north of 231, where it's crazy, where you go left and right, but they've allotted for these turn lanes? Would that be something we could do since you have that property?
We still, even though we do, and we've done
The road
that
would
on other
work.
subdivisions, we still like to keep it centered so that you're
Yeah.
not making that full lane jog over and back.
Yeah.
And even to do that, we need additional right of way on the south side. We could push our curb north the 6 feet,
That's
which
kinda what I'm
which
thinking.
would allow any future development that comes across from us to then we would have room to do that left turn lane at some point in the future. And that would be easy enough to do. It doesn't require a full XL diesel lane, but if we push 6 feet further north with our curb, that allows them to go 6 feet further south later.
Right.
And we would have that center turn.
Yeah, at least we're buying
to build
something now.
to build that into the future, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
It's mandatory.
That's a
we are
no-brainer.
accounting for a 36-foot wide road there currently. We're widening to 18 feet, which is two
That's true.
through
That's
lanes
always been
plus a left turn lane. So I don't know if there needs to be
Yeah.
more
No, that's-
additional to that, because now you're talking 4
And that's
lanes.
with the extra 6 feet going north?
Well, that's,
Oh, no,
that would be
We're
18.
widening to 18 foot, which for point of reference, it's the same thing that was required by Centennial on Parrish, which is a significantly different road than
And
41st.
141st. Yeah.
And on 141st. On both of those roads, all these subdivisions have been required to widen to 18 foot. And that's what we're proposing on 140.
It's considered a minor arterial.
So
So
that
they're
would be
all
your
36 feet back
yeah,
to back
18 per
versus the
side.
33 we normally have on local roads.
So
a
that would
couple
give
more
you
feet.
essentially that you could do 3 12-foot
12,
lanes
12,
at some point in the future.
Well,
You could get a center
36 back to back, it's like 34 drivable.
Yeah.
It'd be tight.
It's doable. Yeah.
So just to recap, we're going to have a eastbound left turn lane.
No, we are not.
We are not.
No,
At
we're
some
not.
point in the future. you
But
may.
what I'm saying is now is the time, if they're willing to add that extra 6 feet and just
Yeah.
go from that entrance
Yeah.
to the west a little bit with 6 foot wider to the north, I think now's the time to do it.
Yeah, no, that for sure.
Well, okay, so
For
I
sure.
understand what you're asking. Because,
Sure.
Where
Um,
run out.
the road currently is, let's talk about half the road.
Okay.
We're talking the north half, right?
You bet.
It's 12 foot wide.
Correct.
We are currently widening to 18.
Right.
So the total pavement thickness width will be 30 feet when we're done,
Correct.
which will give you adequate space to do what you want to do. Are you asking?
So
for
if you, yeah,
additional?
I'm asking for more additional, Jack, and here's why. If you do stop with your truck to turn into that subdivision and you're waiting for somebody to pass you, the traffic behind you, we know there's no way to get around them on the south. But if we have you guys go further north on the north side of on the north side of that road, it then later gives us the opportunity to do this.
I don't have a problem.
Decel lane. I'm just trying to plan for the future. That's it.
Or don't you want
And
to
it's
kind
3
of-
months out of the year, it's a
decel,
busy,
right?
busy road. It's like Jerry had mentioned.
Essentially.
It's almost the same
I
thing.
have trouble handling my compliance. The
Yeah, I'm with
ability to
you.
do it, but we don't design roads for occasional use on a weekend. And a 2-second delay is.
You don't design for peak
is
peak.
permanently-
No, that's
Like special events peak
That's
peak
peak
in a
delay
way.
of 2 seconds.
I understand, but I'm trying to think about, Jack. I know it sounds insane. Pinecrest Marina someday being gone, and that's now a subdivision or condos, and
Even then.
we're just trying to plan for the future.
It's gonna have to go
This-
5,000 cars
This,
more per
but thi-
day.
yeah.
But
Well,
across
those,
the street from your entrance is another empty field.
Hey, John,
So it could be something of,
I'll defer.
and I respect your sticking up for your
I think-
client.
yeah.
And Jack, I respect you for trying to help us. Big
Yeah.
picture.
No, I get it.
Mr. Kubiak, what are your thoughts?
We widened the beacon on the other side.
Okay.
They moved that curve in. Now, this, what they're proposing matches that currently. So once you start jockeying around in the future, right now, it's a continuous straight line. If you sit back and look over the tracks, you start moving this in 6 feet, you just have a cluster. So once the other side of the road gets improved, they do the same thing. You have 3 lanes.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
we're talking about, and you have a, cohesive strip going. So-
Yeah, taking
I think
traffic.
that's important to think about instead of, looking
So you
Take-
personally are okay with the way it is,
because
with the
of-
18 feet?
Because once the other side does get developed, you have the potential of mimicking this side and having 3 lanes.
And taking traffic out of parallel, taking traffic out of parallel, we know what can happen. We've seen it on 231 over
Yeah,
and
right.
over and over again.
No, I don't like S curves.
Yeah,
no,
two
I-
parcels,
No.
I would
two
agree.
parcels that are kind of in between these two as the entrances or around these two entrances that are gonna have the same question. If we widen the road to 24 feet on the north side, then it would be reasonable that that expectation would be for those parcels also to be widened that much.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all parallel. Okay. All right, with that said, why don't you have a seat? Why don't you have a seat, Jack? Remonstrance,
I just have one comment to the traffic study.
come on back up.
All due regard to your traffic study, I'm sure it was thorough. But on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I've had 6 boats in my front. I had to build berm to get rid of them. I've had inner tube fly off boats, everybody pulls over. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday boat traffic alone, you could probably add almost 100 cars. That's all I'm gonna say. And that 231 in Demont, that's commercial. You can't compare it to a residential.
My comment is, I agree with him. You want to keep it uniform, keep it looking good all the way down. Don't change it.
No.
No, keep it looking the same. He did a nice job on that side of the street. I would recommend the town put sidewalks over at railroad tracks because there are a lot of kids walking over that railroad tracks now.
Dan, that's
our
being-
town administrator work.
That's being worked on right now.
And then also, you're gonna run the curbs, are you gonna run them all the way down to that second entrance? Am I gonna have curbs in my front yard? I don't know with that. So I would just have to deal with Jack or
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at right, there's no right way there now.
It has to be dedicated.
I believe.
They own to the
I-
road, they own to the center line.
We own to the center line, yes.
You'd have to dedicate right away for us to do that.
Well, the town would have to buy me out at 12 feet. No, just kidding. Yeah, keep it uniform. I say, why change it now? You started and there's only 2 entrances to Cedar Lake, 141st, 133rd. So what you start, finish it out.
Yeah, I thought that the traffic discussion warranted a little more time. I hate to sound like my predecessor, but this is a resort community. And we do have the masses running in on Friday nights and the masses running out on Sunday.
The south
And-
side of that street, them houses are a lot closer to the road. You're not gonna get that in the future unless,
Future's very questionable there.
yeah, unless something happens, you know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other remonstrance? Any other discussion? Heather, Bob, any thoughts?
Nope.
No, thank you.
Okay, good. What do you got?
I have no emails and I have no attendees raised in there.
Okay. 0. Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, guess we've covered everything. Chuck, any thoughts? Mr. Sharp?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. John's?
I'm good.
Shell, Tim, anybody? Sarah?
I want to note that a few things on this preliminary plat, such as the address of the road name and a few adjacent zoning need to be corrected.
Okay. You know about that? You're gonna have to clarify that sign language he's got going on back there. All right, well, this is this recommendation or decision?
First, it's a requesting preliminary plat for 159 lot subdivision.
Rezones a request.
As a recommendation.
As a recommendation. Yeah. Okay.
Can I clarify some things?
Yes, sir.
Before we move on?
Yeah. Clarify every single thing.
So we still have outstanding engineering comments. They're minor in nature. We looked at them. I'll get into the PUD for the next one. I just want to clarify what exactly we're going to do at this intersection. We just talked about 18 different things. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see? I mean, essentially, what you're describing is a modified XL decel lane.
Well, it
builds the future into anything else there, right?
Yeah, I think as long as we've got the 18 feet, that allows for a future 36-foot wide
So
road.
no changes to the road as they show it now?
I sort of like moving it 6 feet to the north, but after listening to Tim and Mr. Weincoop knows a lot about this sort of thing, I think I can, I have been swayed to giving up my hope of having the road jog because it is irritating.
Yeah.
But
And unsafe.
he was willing to do it, so I thought it made some logical sense. But, it can be just, somebody can make a motion in favor or against, with or without the 18-foot. With these guys being okay with it, I guess I am. I just wonder how long it'll be. till this buys the field across the street.
What you-
One Lennar.
Yeah.
Centennial.
It's all 36.
Been
Yeah.
Consistent
Okay.
everywhere now, so I think consistency is the key.
Okay.
I mean, this is the.
I'm good with it.
Development.
After listening to Tim and
All right.
comments.
Don, what you have there is presented is not what we're talking about. Is that what you're telling me?
No. Well, I'm saying right now it's uniform. It's straight out. The only thing we've really done to the entrance to kind of provide a little more traffic calming.
So a
is
motion
blow
would
out
have
the
to
radius.
include a.
If you wanted
expansion?
something, yes, because it would be different from the plans we have now, I guess.
But every,
Okay.
Yeah.
the 18 feet wide on the north side is what we've proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the widened radiuses.
Yeah.
For the
Which
entrance.
is what we have in there now.
Right.
The only other consideration, I guess, was one of Neil's comments actually about looping the water main through the Weincoop property.
Right.
To loop it, but obviously that's owned by Mr. Weincoop straight to the center line. And that also brings up the obvious thing. Do you want to keep that continuity for the road going through? Otherwise, you're going to have a gap. It's going to look weird. But they don't own that. So, but it's just some discussion I think you should have.
Yeah, it will look silly. It'd be better to have a curb, you're saying.
You're gonna have a
across
gap in the
Mr. Weintraub.
sidewalk,
All
you're
the
gonna have
way-
a gap in the road.
Yeah, it needs to go all the way to the second entrance.
Well, we
Can't-
don't own that.
own it. Mr. Weintraub
can't.
owns the center of the road.
You would need Mr. Weintraub to dedicate that right away.
Okay.
Thank you.
We would need him to dedicate the roadway
If he does, we'll put the curb in.
and loop the
Yeah,
water
We
in.
have to loop the
Yeah.
water also. Yeah.
I mean, the water is just pretty essential. We have Winding Creek on Long Parish where we did develop that subdivision and water main turns, goes into Winding Creek, goes up 137, it comes out the parish. So now, if there is ever a water main break or anything in Winding Creek, it shuts down Lindsway, Ledgestone, Centennial. Just
Yeah.
because we don't have that.
Yeah.
This same scenario where the water bypasses the community and you could shut it off and continue service. If it
We're
ever
getting a
does.
lot closer to where those two dead ends
So-
can connect.
Right.
So
It's a good
so
plan for the
it,
future.
yeah, so that all sounds like a great plan, but this motion, Mr. Austin, has to include.
Well, we're
the-
asking
the-
for preliminary plat and rezoning, so I don't know how much of the.
So none of the Wine Coop property would be involved in this.
You are at the most substantive time of the approval process. Your
That's
primary
now.
plat sounds preliminary and like conceptual. It is not. It is
That's
the
now.
substantive time. And everything needs to be in the motion if there's going to be contingencies. The same applies to the zoning. It's recommendation, but it's a PUD zoning, and attached to it is included everything: the PUD contract, the various conditions,
Well,
subdivision plat.
The acquisition of property to loop the water line?
Can't approve something that they don't own, and it is not within the four corners of their legal description. So.
Can you approve it on contingent of?
They work something out.
Yeah, that ain't good enough.
No,
We can go in the back and work it out. It's-
You got all the paperwork in your office on this.
I've got most of it right
Property
here.
already, yeah.
Got it right here.
I will say, obviously, we do have to come back on July 7th, once, assuming we get a recommendation. So we are going to be back for the final approval of the PUD by the town council.
So you would be good with getting acquisition of property as a contingency?
If we can work out the acquisition, we will put in the curbs.
And
That's what I'm saying.
and loop the water line?
Yes.
Well, the water line has to be done. It's just, it would jut into the existing pavement area, I think, is what would happen. Because it'd be considered David prescribed right away? Or no? It's the same problem we had with Rose Garden extending their sewer force main east through
Yeah.
a similar property that owned the center line, and it was unincorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was worse.
Yeah.
They would have to repave the part of the street.
That's a problem too.
Yeah.
So how can we make a motion to include this?
Contingent on something being worked out before the.
I don't like contingencies.
Yeah, no, that's.
I don't like any of them. But go ahead.
With the substantive components that are at play, it's not right. If those are conditions that are going to occur.
Yeah, I mean, this literally, that's the first time we've actually even talked about or discussed continuing that curb. It was not part of our original proposal, and it's not something that we had thought about. I'm saying if the right of way can be there, we'll put the curb in, but I don't know that I can hold up the whole subdivision, not knowing if we can reach an agreement or not.
What about, Mr. Chairman, what if the Beacon Point East subdivision / rezone petition requesting preliminary plat were to be deferred, but we move forward with the petitioners requesting rezone to PUD? Does that help?
The PUD includes within it,
Includes the
John,
curb.
The plat.
the plat.
Yeah.
So the water line needs to be done.
The water line has to be done.
The water line has to be done. And it has to be done, can't be done because they don't own the property.
That's up to debate if it can be done.
It would be in the middle of
Yes.
Yeah, if acquisition does not get done.
Okay.
Jack is taking this on breakneck speed. He's gonna break his record for the 129th PUD. You did a great job on that. I don't know how you got it done. 2 weeks is gonna help the details here a lot. So that motions can be made that legally can be cashed.
Okay.
And it sounds like there's, that the dialogue around the room is completely open and available.
Very close.
I would also add, I received the responded comments from Richard Anderson at 2:09 this afternoon. I promised you to get to him. Sorry, Jack.
That's right.
2:09
Yeah,
PM.
but, but that was after a couple back and forths, right?
No, I've never seen.
Well, you had the original. that
Well,
you-
I had the original, I had that,
yeah.
whatever.
That's one back.
Staff looked at it. I mean, everybody was here working
Yeah, no, I understand.
on it.
Well,
We're on a condensed time period, I guess what I'm saying.
okay. Give me a second. Heather, Bob, you have any thoughts?
No.
No.
All right. Michelle, no, nothing from anyone? Okay. Well, I hate to ask this question. You know I'm going to ask. Are we looking at deferral here?
Well, if it gets done in 2 weeks, what we're talking about right here.
We have to do a special public meeting though, because we only.
We can do that.
Public meeting.
We can do
Then you
that.
can still go to the July 7th town council meeting.
Yeah.
Because the planning commission is July 1st, right?
It is.
Yes. If we did a special public meeting on July 1,
Doesn't delay
the
it.
2 weeks.
And you still can get to the town
Still
council,
meets
Jack,
the
I think,
council meeting.
I understand.
because of the way it falls.
Correct, Rick. No overtime.
Can we,
Can we close the public hearing portion so we don't have to redo that?
I wouldn't recommend that based upon the dialogue. It's a little different than others we've had, Jack.
All right. So
Would the plan commission members like to discuss what the demonstrators' concerns were, especially regarding screening, and actually come to a decision about what you'd like to see?
Well, I threw out an idea, but Tim brought up that in our subdivision control ordinance, we don't have any.
Yeah, but David, so this is a PUD.
Right.
So if you do want something, and you see a need for it, this is the time to discuss it.
Well, like the curb, I would ask that these guys are able to work something out that is amicable.
Yeah.
So fence is more expensive than arborvitae? It would look better.
Depends on how many trees.
When
Huh?
you're excavating, it's probably
Right.
about a wash.
Probably about a wash, yeah.
Trees look better.
Well, that's what I thought. We have enough fenced towns now.
And where the trail is.
Fenced neighborhoods.
We had the PUD, there, and they're not allowing pools and fences. We could go to like, a nature type break. As long as that walkway is taken out along my house.
Well,
The walkways kind of makes what the walk around the pond, so that's why I was thinking
Yeah.
the fence.
So would you guys consider, so, I mean, that was part of his park contribution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a significant off-site water main extension along the length of the property and also curb. Could that be considered as part of that, a trade there?
I mean, we're still gonna do this path, the long path in the back, but I guess if we, my thought with this walking path was it allowed somebody to go around the pond, but
Sure.
if we now are gonna have contiguous sidewalk all the way around this property.
Well, and somebody could still walk on the grass around the
True.
pond.
That's right.
So,
And honestly, there's no.
It's just awful close to his house.
Yeah, and when we talk about screening, it's typically like house against house but their house is way up here and the nearest house is 200 feet away. And the same really with the Wilson house is 200 feet away from our property. So his garage is way down here. I know that's the concern, but.
Yeah, but the rest of my property goes right along that road.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand, but I don't
You know,
really understand the screening and the fence there, then we're not right up against them.
So Beacon Points, there's no grass mowing, there's no pools, there's no sheds, there's no fences.
Correct. No
That's-
pools, no sheds, no fences.
You don't mow your own grass.
Correct.
You don't shovel your own snow.
Correct. It's all maintenance
Totally maintenance
included.
free.
Maintenance free.
I'm okay with, walking path in lieu of them being able to work something out with the curb and extension of the water main. to loop it. 'Cause, I mean, that is a little bitty walk around that retention pond versus.
Yeah.
the
It
larger-
actually leaves more open space for the park, so.
You well, need sidewalk in front of Whitefields parcel as well.
Yeah, well, there's a
Yeah.
sidewalk there. He's got a sidewalk.
Oh, there's already one there?
Yeah.
Does it match up with yours?
Not really.
The church was there.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's further in.
Is it,
I mean,
is it further enough out that you can fit the road in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is where.
Yeah, where
Oh, so it's
yours
actually
would
further
go.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
Well, I guess those final details will have to be decided in the future. Exactly, whatever you work out with the property owner. So I think I mean, it's still open green space. People can still walk up to the pond if they want.
And there's sidewalk.
There's sidewalks around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Another question in the back?
You wouldn't need us to work it out by July 1st. I think I won't even be in town.
No, but
He'll be in Michigan.
whatever dialogue needs to be had regarding the property in this.
But do I have to come back to the meeting? Because I'll be
No.
in.
No, you don't have to be in the meeting.
You don't have to come back.
No, there'll just have to be some kind of legal documents that say that this can't happen.
Okay.
No, just we need legal documents that say this is what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was had a question for Don. Do you know how they did do the Lennar deal in the county? How it being in, I mean, is there a restricted, like you said, right away, or do we need to?
They granted a license. Yeah, they talked to the county plan commission quite a bit and got something. Yeah.
Oh, you mean to get the water to there?
They ran the.
So force curb.
They did get something. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'd have to double check.
I mean, right now, if you click on the GIS, the hospital goes to the middle of.
Yeah.
141st. It's a very, same situation. So I just didn't know if there's some kind of, something here that we're.
Missing?
That were, again, that's available.
I can double check. I don't remember exactly how they pulled that off. I mean, it was kind of out of our hands. It was unincorporated, so.
But Hawkins is still going to the center of the road.
Hawkinson owns
On
the south
both
side
sides
of the
of the
road, and
road.
he's unincorporated.
Yeah.
He's unincorporated, but we own both sides of this.
Yes. Yeah, it's incorporated. It's now on us now. I need to check what they actually got for it. I need to double check it.
Is that correspondence you need to have with Jack then?
We'll chat.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, just so it all gets worked out by July 1st. We can do that, right?
Ask him what their building lines are for your backyard to the house.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Here, I'll show you. I'm a little new to this, Gene. I don't know what historical. This is.
So I put the surveyor out
It shows that on the satellite.
The rear yard is 20 feet and the side yard is 7.
His brother.
If you guys wanted this, you can get it from our garage.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
One other thought that I have, but we talked about being able to start this year. We would start with a smaller first phase. That was going to be 10 cottage lots and 10 duplex lots. That would be the main entrance in the pond. But we would not get to that second entrance until the second phase. So we do have some time to work out.
How
some
many
of these.
phases was this gonna be, you thought?
3. So small, medium, and large, like.
Which is on that preliminary plan.
Yeah.
I mean, would you have to do a PUD amendment at that point?
I'm sorry,
Would you have to do a PUD amendment at that point if you include that
not if it's in the PUD agreement.
right now? We can work it out in 2 weeks.
And if changes occur, then there'll be.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm clear. Both of these items are gonna be deferred.
Well, one at a
Special
time.
public meeting. Oh.
Leave that to us.
They have to both be deferred, both have.
Okay, okay. You're not phasing me with that word.
July 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just,
We
yeah,
already have a meeting.
had to grab the defibrillators.
We'll do special public.
Special public meeting. No, we'll make,
Yeah, that's the easiest part of this.
yeah.
That's the easy part. Okay,
Mr.
all right, regarding,
Chairman.
regarding the Beacon Point East subdivision rezone, petitioner's preliminary plat of 159 homes and the petitioner's request for a rezone to PUD. Item number 1, would anyone like to make a motion?
So moved.
That
What are we doing?
that it's
Defer. What's the
it's
motion?
deferred,
I'm sorry, I'm
that
sorry,
it's deferred.
Yes, that is deferred.
I guess I should ask Mr. Slager,
Is that okay?
would you request a deferral?
I'd rather just let you guys decide what you're doing. So if you're gonna defer to July 1st. Well, I'm still not sure if that's what the consensus is. I guess it is.
I don't think, Chuck, do you have any issues with anything here?
I think we need to get it worked out right now.
Yeah, soon. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should defer to July 1st.
Mr. Sharp?
Deferred, yes.
So he's got a motion on the table, so if somebody gets a second, we can vote on it.
Second by Chuck. Roll call, please.
Heather Dessauer,
Yes.
Chuck Becker, John Foreman,
Yes.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Yes.
John Capora,
Yes.
Jerry Wilkening.
Yes. Okay, unanimous. Regarding petitioner and rezone to the PUD, we get a motion to defer that?
So move.
Second
I'll second.
by John, Chuck, then John. Roll call, please.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Chuck.
Chuck Becker, John Capora seconded.
Thank
Heather
you.
Dessauer,
Yes.
Chuck Becker,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Yes.
John Capora,
Yes.
Jerry Wilkening.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll
Okay.
be back. July
Thanks,
1st.
Jack. Yeah,
You're
thanks.
you're clear,
See you
you're
guys in
clear?
2 weeks.
Yep.
Everybody's clear? Okay.
Just get it done. They can get it done. It sounds like that.
All right. We have
That was your doing.
run through these update items real quick.
Huh?
Okay, any updates on the update items?
no, these are all letters of credit that Don is working on. The developers are aware. They are doing everything they need to do. So we will add this to the agenda on July.
Okay,
Yep.
is there any other public comment? Anyone?
Nope.
No public comment. Okay, I'm gonna call it meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Jerry.